Hello Gemini, this is your tarot reading. So just a few more seconds and I will cut the cards. Okay. The first card is the moon in reverse, death in reverse, we have the Ace of Wands, what this first row says to me is pushing forward, past disappointment. I have a Page of Pentacles in reverse. I have Three of Cups in reverse. Interesting. These reversals, as much as I try to shuffle the cards and just mix them up, it seems like reversals just are the theme for this month's reading. This is the Magician in reverse. I have a Nine of Swords in reverse. I have a Nine of Wands. And then I have the World in reverse, which is interesting because the World showed up in reverse in the exact same position, I think, for Aries. Okay. So why all the reversals? Because as I said before, this seems to be a trend with all the readings. And every time I finish a reading for one sign, I take the cards, I just throw them out on the table and just mix them up as much as possible. And it just seems like these reversals just keep coming back. So I'm going to accept this message from the tarot. I'm not going to try to overthink why the reversals are happening. They're just happening. Sometimes a reversal can be a good thing, though. So when we look at the moon in reverse, we're reversal of fears. We go to death in reverse. And this is an interesting reversal because usually the meaning of death is that something dies and then there's a new beginning. And that can be a good thing. Many people are afraid of the death card. But when you look at it in reverse, we're preventing an ending. Something is not coming to a close. And I see the relationship with the moon, especially seeing that these are major arcana cards. The way I interpret the moon's connection to death, they're both in reverse. Maybe there are certain subconscious fears and apprehensions, because that's what the moon is all about. It's about those unconscious feelings and thoughts that influence our behavior. They're the more permanent energies in our subconscious that we're ruled by. Anything that happened in our childhood, anything that, in a Freudian sense, anything that could, that shaped our ego and our id and our superego, that's what the moon partially addresses. But it's also about having dreams, connecting to your intuition, connecting to that subconscious. And you'll note that the moon is within the sun. Okay. We have this relationship between the conscious and the subconscious. the sun illuminates and brings everything to the surface. The moon is about things that are hidden. So when this is reversed, it could very well be that there's a disconnect between our fears and those invisible issues that we carry around. And there's no connection with those things with the consciousness and the awareness. And maybe those things are not coming up to the surface. So you need to be very, you need to take this as an important message from the tarot, that what's going on here is in this relationship or the situation, maybe there are things that need to come to a closure, but it could be that there are issues and fears and doubts that are still residing in your subconscious, and you need to acknowledge them. And this has a lot to do with having closure, because that's what death is all about. It's about having closure and you moving on. As I said, death, sometimes when you get the card of death, it's a good thing because it's promising a new cycle, a new beginning. Nevertheless, in spite of the death card being in reverse, this Ace of Wands is showing that there still is some movement to try for a new beginning. The Ace of Wands is the type of energy to where if there is a new relationship or a new possibility, you jump in with both feet. You're inspired and you feel this passion and desire to take action. And so this Ace of Wands is about creativity, but it's also, as far as a relationship, it's about being very attracted to someone and having a connection, having a beginning of a relationship. And it could be that maybe this is a little bit too soon, considering that there may still be some psychological issues going on here, as indicated by the moon and death in reverse. Okay? The other major arcana card you have the Magician in reverse. And the Magician is always about power. You know, it's not just about magic. The Magician, if he wants to make something happen, he will make it happen. And so there could be a misuse of power or will or intent, and that can happen a lot, where we say, I want this to happen no matter what, even though the signs are there that maybe this person isn't ready, or this situation is not what it appears to be. Sometimes we can want something so much, and keep in mind this symmetry with these three cards, because with the World, which is also a major arcana, it's interesting that we have wands in the hands. She has this, it's not an angel, but it's sort of like a sapphic, there have been some interpretations that this is a fairy, this could be a goddess, but note she has two wands in her hand and he has a wand in his hand. Wands, holding the wand in your hand, it's all about your intent and applying your intentions to a particular situation, to transform that situation. And that's something that occurs when we are in a relationship or in love. We try to make a relationship work. We try to, sometimes we try too hard to make relationships work. We want to, our will is strong, but sometimes the context and the situation, it's not in our favor. And that's why this Magician is in reverse. And that's why the World is in reverse. Okay? You're going into this wanting to have a positive outcome here, but there seems to be some business that needs to still be taken care of or resolved here. that's going to get in the way of this relationship or this connection. So whenever you get a wand in reverse, it means that you're not in control of the situation, that your will, you're using your will and your intent and your influence um, in vain, or using it in the wrong way because you want something to happen, and the universe is saying this is not the right time. If even if you try, it's still not going to work out. This is not the correct path to take. So the major arcana are giving me this sense of going back to finish, to put closure on old business, acknowledge or see certain things that you haven't acknowledged. And this is further confirmed with the world. The world is in your future, and this is, when it's reversed, it means repeating a cycle over again, because the world is all about this circular completion, success. You finish something, you've achieved something. It could be a new job or relationship or whatever conflict or trial that you're going through. Maybe you were fired and laid off, and it becomes this journey to where you're looking for a new job and you want to, and then you go through a period of unemployment and you're searching for a new job. And so you're on this journey to have closure and to overcome this negative circumstances in your life. And so whenever you see the world, it's an indication that there's an important cycle in your life that has changed, that's come to a close, and now there's going to be a new cycle. But when it's reversed, it just means that you keep going around in circles, that there are lessons that you are neglecting to learn or someone else is neglecting to learn. So the major arcana, the story from this major arcana is telling me unfinished business. Unfinished business that's going to get in the way of what you want in this relationship. And then we have this Three of Cups right in the middle. Three of Cups is the card of affection and love and friendship. It's not as serious as the Two of Cups, but when this is reversed, it can definitely mean lack of affection, lack of love, a celebration that you were hoping would happen. For instance, maybe you got engaged and you were expecting to have a wedding, and maybe that wedding was called off. That's one explanation for this Three of Cups, that maybe there was an important event in this relationship that didn't happen. It can mean someone's personal feelings. Maybe they're way too casual. Maybe they've lost respect in the relationship. Okay, lack of respect, lack of trust. So this is a significant reversal in a relationship when this shows up, because it expresses someone's feelings, that the affection is it's not going both ways, that one person might have more affection and love and the other person doesn't feel the same way. That's another interpretation. Okay. And you also have 2 9s. Remember, the number 9 is about closure. And when you get to the number 10, it means now we begin again. We're putting closure on something, and now we get to move forward. So these 2 9s are important because this 9 of Swords is reversed. We have extreme worry and frustration. And when this is negative, it could very well mean that it increases, that you become really not just worried, but you're in extreme distress about It could mean that someone is inflicting emotional distress and pain. And then this other nine, the Nine of Wands, this is the card of insecurity. Being fearful of the future, not sure what's going to happen. So this, especially with the world, it seems like certain fears and issues are coming back. You thought they were resolved earlier with this moon and death in reverse, but they're not. You might have thought they were, but especially if this is about another person, it's definitely, there is definitely some unfinished business going on here. Okay, so going back to this first row, I've already explained this stop and start, that there was unfinished business that should have been taken care of before we moved forward with the Ace of Wands. And then when we get to this next row here, we have a Page of Pentacles in reverse. And I always consider this, in terms of relationships and emotions, the reality check card, being stable and grounded and practical, especially when it comes to money. But now it's in reverse, so we're not on, and this could also be about getting a message as well, or having some communication, you know. Pages all are about delivering messages. But I choose to see this as a lack of balance, instability, and lack of clarity. We're not looking at things the way they are here. So when we're not looking at things the way they are, going back to this Three of Cups, we're not understanding where someone is in their life as far as their feelings, their commitment, and who they are. And then that leads us to this Magician card, which I already explained is applying your will to a certain situation or outcome. Sometimes it's a misuse of power. Okay, and it seems like maybe it's you, or maybe it's someone else. Someone keeps fighting against trying to make something happen that's not ready to happen. And that's why in this last row, heading to the future, now we have all this worry and pain. And then we have this insecurity. And then we end up going through the same cycle again. We don't get closure. We don't achieve the goal that we wanted to with the energy of the Ace of Wands and the Magician. Now I'm going to look at the outcome card. I have a Five of Wands reverse. Okay, so wands seem to be significant here in your reading, Gemini. What does this mean? Whenever you have a Five of Wands, which is the card of having conflict or competition, when people can't agree, everyone has their own separate agenda. And sometimes when this Five of Wands is reversed, it means that maybe there is a resolution, but sometimes it can mean that the conflicts get worse. As far as what the tarot is saying here, the tarot is saying, yeah, it seems like you're going through this cycle over and over again because it seems there's unfinished business in this relationship. And what the Five of Wands is saying as an outcome is that maybe you will still need to go through certain conflicts with this person. Maybe, but there's a possibility that things could work out. And this Five of Wands is just simply indicating, when it's in reverse, is that there is a possibility that if there's someone who's putting up, who has their own inner conflict, because it's not just conflict with external circumstances or another person, this Five of Wands can also be about internal conflict and not being able to resolve that conflict on your own. So this outcome card, what the tarot is saying to me about your situation, Gemini, is that you might be the one who's trying to make a situation happen. There might be some manipulation going on, but whatever old issues were occurring before, expect those old issues to start coming back, and the possibility of more conflict that you will need to work through in this relationship or with a particular person. Okay. So that was my reading for August. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a wonderful summer, Gemini. I know your birthday was, for most of you, it was the end of May and June. So we go into August. Thanks to everyone for your comments, your donations, and your help, and getting readings from me. Some of you are getting second and third readings, and I really appreciate it. I'm glad to have your trust. So if you are interested in a reading, look in my description. But I'm also going to post a video for those of you who just want to know all about my services and are interested in how to make an appointment. Okay. All right. So thank you very much. I hope to talk to you on YouTube soon. I wish you love and light.